Hello there, welcome to Max's Cards and Dice Dugout. This is episode 133. Robert Max here. Thanks for stopping by. And in this episode, we are back at Cleveland Municipal Stadium for game number 43 of the Strat-O-Matic Baseball Oldtimer Kings King of the Hill tournament, which has the current Kings, the 1954 Cleveland Indians, playing host to the 1950 Philadelphia Phillies. Before we get to the starting lineups, let's take a look at the status of things. The Indians would like to get one win closer to reaching the Goodell Cup Finals. This would give them 9 if they pull this one off. And the first team to reach the finals will be the home team in a best-of-7 series that will follow a 2-3-2 format. And are taking on the Phillies today at 5-4. The Phillies are one of the teams that got off to a really good start in this tournament, but they were 4-1 at one point. But as you can see, they've gone 1-3 since. And then we got the Yankees, the 1950 Yankees on deck, with the 1957 Milwaukee Braves in the hole. All right, so let's get to the starting lineups for this one. Both teams are healthy, no injuries. First, for the visiting Philadelphia Phillies, leading off at first base, Eddie Waitkus. Batting second, in center field, Richie Ashburn. Batting third, Dick Sisler. He's in left. Batting fourth, Del Ennis. He's in right field. Batting fifth, third baseman, Willie Jones. Batting sixth, Granny Hamner. He's at shortstop. Batting seventh, catcher Andy Semenick. Batting eighth, second baseman, Mike Goliot. And on the mound is Robin Roberts. In 1950, he was 20-11 with a 3.02 ERA, 304 innings pitched. He is a #1 hitting pitcher, so he'll get that card. Inserted into the lineup. Now for the current Kings of the Hill, the 1954 Cleveland Indians. Leading off in left field is Al Smith. Batting second, Bobby Avila. He's at second base. Batting third, center fielder Larry Doby. Batting fourth, third baseman Al Rosen. Batting fifth, first baseman Vic Wertz. Batting sixth, right fielder Dave Philly. Batting seventh, George Strickland. He's at shortstop. Batting eighth, catcher Jim Hagan. And on the hill, batting ninth, is Bob Feller. In 1954, he was 13-3 with a 3.09 ERA, 140 innings of work. He's a #2 hitting pitcher, so he'll get that card inserted into the lineup. And we are ready to go. So leading off for the Phillies is first baseman Eddie Waitkus, and here's the pitch. Waitkus pops this one up. It's going to stay in the infield. And first baseman Vic Wertz is under that, makes the catch, and there's one away. Next up for the Phillies, center fielder Richie Ashburn. Pitch from Feller. That's a ground ball to second baseman Bobby Avila. He tosses over to Vic Wertz for the 4-3 put out. And there are 2 away. 2 outs, nobody on. And left fielder Dick Sisler. Outside ball 4, so Sisler draws the 2-out walk, trots down to first base, and that's going to bring up Del Ennis, Phillies right fielder. Here's the pitch from Feller. It's a ground ball to third base. That's Al Rosen. It is an X check. Rosen is a 3, and we roll a 1. And that is going to be a ball that gets by Rosen. It's ruled a hit. He cruises in the first. Sisler, who was on the move with 2 outs, holds up at third. So the Phillies have runners on the corners with 2 outs, and third baseman Willie Jones. Here's the pitch from Feller. That's a ground ball to short. It's going to be Strickland. George Strickland fires over to Vic Wertz for the 3rd out, and Feller gets out of the jam. So with a half inning in the books, it's the Phillies nothing and the Indians coming to bat. Bob Feller gets his first fatigue point. And here comes Robin Roberts out on the mound. Leading off for the Indians will be Al Smith. And Smith lifts this one to right field. Del Ennis is under that, makes the catch, 1 away. So 1 out, nobody on. And second baseman Bobby Avila. And Avila gets a hold of one that sends Ashburn back to the wall. It's off the wall. And Avila cruises into second with a stand-up double. So the Indians have a runner in scoring position with 1 out. And center fielder Larry Doby. The pitch from Robbins. And another high fly ball, this one to left field, sends Dick Sisler back. He can't get to that. It's off the wall. And it's an RBI double for Doby, and the Indians are on the board as Avila comes across the plate. And Robin Roberts gets his first fatigue point as the Indians lead 1-0. So man on second, still only 1 out. Excuse me, third baseman Al Rosen. More trouble for the Phillies. This one goes down the line to right field. Del Ennis can't get to it. And 3 doubles in a row for the Indians have them up 2-0. Doby comes across. And the crowd here at Cleveland Municipal is loving it. Robin Roberts gets his second fatigue point, and we have a runner on second base with still only 1 out, and first baseman Vic Wertz. That is a ground ball to first base. The only play for Eddie Wakus is to take that unassisted to the bag. He gets Wertz, but that allows Rosen to move to third. And now there are 2 away. So 2 outs, a man on first. The Indians lead 2-0. And right fielder Dave Philly. And Philly hits one right up the middle, and Rosen's going to come across the plate. 2-out RBI single for Philly, and it's now 3-0 in favor of the Indians. Robin Roberts is off to a rough start. That's his third fatigue point. So man on first with 2 outs, and shortstop George Strickland. Pitch from Roberts. And that's a line drive right at third baseman Willie Jones. He makes that play. They get Strickland for the 3rd out. But the Indians pick up 3 here in the bottom of the 1st, and with 1 inning complete, it's the Indians 3 and the Phillies nothing. Robin Roberts gets his 4th fatigue point. And Feller comes out here for the top of the 2nd with a 4-run cushion. Or excuse me, a 3-run cushion. And first batter he's going to face is Granny Hamner. Here's the pitch. That's a ground ball to shortstop. George Strickland over to Vic Wertz. 1 away. Next up for the Phils is catcher Andy Semenick. That one's low. Ball 4 called. Semenick trots down to first base, so the Phillies have a runner on with 1 out. And second baseman Mike Goliot. Here's the pitch. And that's a strikeout. First strikeout for Bob Feller. And there are 2 away. So 2 outs, man on first. And we get pitcher Robin Roberts. Here's the pitch. Low outside. Robbins draws the walk. A 2-out walk. Semenic moves up to second. So the Phillies have runners on first and second. They cleared a pitcher's spot. And we're back to the top of the order with Eddie Waitkus, who's 0 for 1. This time he hits a line drive right at Bobby Avila, who makes the catch. And that's it for the Phillies here in the second. So after 1.5, it's the Indians 3 and the Phillies nothing. Bob Feller gets his second fatigue point. Let's see if Robin Roberts settles down here in the bottom of the second. Here's catcher Jim Hagan. That's a fly ball to right field. Del Ennis is under that, makes the catch, 1 away. Next up, pitcher Bob Feller. Roberts delivers. That's a ground ball to shortstop. Granny Hamner over 2. Eddie Waitkus for out number 2. So 2 outs, nobody on. Back to the top of the order for the Indians. Left fielder Al Smith, who's 0 for 1. But he hits this one right up the middle, and it's a 2-out single for Smith. So he's there on first base with 2 outs. And second baseman Bobby Avila, who's 1 for 1 with a double and a run scored. This time he lifts one to right field. Del Ennis is under that, makes the catch. And that's it for the Indians here in the bottom of the second. So after 2 innings, it's the Indians 3 and the Phillies nothing. Robin Roberts gets his 5th fatigue point. Leading off for the Phillies here in the top of the third is Whitey Ashburn. He's 0 for 1. It's a fly ball to right field. Dave Phillies under that, makes the catch, 1 away. Next for the Phillies, Dick Sisler, left fielder. Sisler walked his first time up. It's a ground ball back to Bob Feller. It's an X-check. Feller is a 2. We roll a 4. And Feller scoops up that one. Jogs towards first base. Underhand toss to Vic Wertz. And that's out number 2. So that'd be a 1-3 put out. Two outs, nobody on. And Phillies right fielder Del Ennis. Ennis is 1 for 1. It's a fly ball to center field. Larry Doby's under that, makes the catch. And the Phillies go 1, 2, 3 here in the third. So after 2.5, it's the Indians 3 and the Phillies nothing. Bob Feller gets fatigue point number 3. Robin Roberts, who's at 5, is out here for the bottom of the third. And his Phillies are trailing 3-0. Leading off for the Indians, it's Larry Doby. And that's a strikeout. First strikeout for Robin Roberts. And there's 1 away here in the bottom of the third. Third baseman Al Rosen is next. He's 1 for 1. He doubled, scored a run, and drove one in his first time up. This time he lifts one to right field. Del Ennis is under that, makes the catch. And there are 2 away. So 2 outs, nobody on. First baseman, Vic Wertz. Wertz is 0 for 1. Here's the pitch from Roberts, excuse me. And another fly ball to right field, and it tracks down easily. And the Indians go 1, 2, 3. So after 3 innings, it's the Indians 3, Phillies nothing. Robin Roberts gets fatigue point number 6. Leading off for the Phillies here in the top of the 4th is going to be third baseman Willie Jones. Jones is 0 for 1. Feller delivers. Low and outside. It's a leadoff walk for Willie Jones. He's down there at first base. His stealing rating is a D, so he's going to stay put. Here's shortstop Granny Hammer, who's 0 for 1. That's a ground ball back to pitcher Bob Feller. And he fires to second base where George Strickland is covering. They get Jones on the force out, and Hamner reaches, on a fielder's choice. So he's on first with 1 out now. And that's going to bring up catcher Andy Semenick, who walked his first time up. And that is a high fly ball to right field that sends Dave Philly back. It's way up, out of here, gone. And with a swing of the bat from Andy Semenick, the Phillies are back in this game, and it is now 3-2 in favor of the Indians. So Feller picks up his 4th and 5th fatigue points on that. And it's gotten quiet here at Cleveland Municipal. So 1 out, nobody on. Phillies trail 3-2. Here's Mike Oliot. He pops this one up. It's going to stay in the infield. Bobby Avila's under that, makes the catch. And there are 2 away. So 2 outs, nobody on. And pitcher Robin Roberts. He walked his first time up. It's a ground ball to short. It's going to be an X check. Strickland, George Strickland is a 2, rolling 18. Strickland makes a nice play. Fires over to first baseman Vic Wertz, and they get Roberts by a step to end the inning. But the Phillies pick up 2 runs on Andy Semenick's 2-run homer, and after 3.5, it's the Indians 3 and the Phillies 2. Bob Feller will get another fatigue point for the inning, and that puts him at 6. So he's right there with Robin Roberts, who's coming out for the bottom of the 4th. First batter he's going to face is Dave Philly. Philly's 1 for 1. And that's a strikeout. Second strikeout for Roberts. There's 1 away here in the bottom of the 4th. That brings up shortstop George Strickland. Strickland's 0 for 1. Roberts delivers. It's a ground ball back to Roberts. It's an X check. He's a 2. We roll a 14. And Roberts makes a nice play. Fires over to Eddie Wakis for out number 2. So 2 outs, nobody on. And Indians catcher Jim Hagan. Hagan is 0 for 1. He lines this one, but right at shortstop Granny Hamner, who snags that for the 3rd out. And the Indians go 1, 2, 3. So after 4 innings, It's the Indians 3 and the Phillies 2. Robin Roberts gets fatigue point number 7. You have to excuse me, allergies. All right, here we are, top of the 5th. Indians leading the Phillies 3-2. And we're at the top of the order for the Phils. Eddie Waitkus. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 2 for Bob Feller. And there's one away. One out, nobody on. Richie Ashburn, who's 0 for 2. And that's another strikeout. 2 in a row, and number 3 for Feller. So there's 2 outs, nobody on. And left fielder Dick Sisler. Feller delivers. It's a ground ball to third base. Al Rosen over to Vic Wertz. 5-3 put out. And that's it for the Phillies here in the top of the 5th. So after 4.5, it's the Indians 3, the Phillies 2. Feller gets fatigue point number 7. Robin Roberts, who is at 7, comes out for the bottom of the 5th. And he's going to face his counterpart, Bob Feller. Here's the pitch. And Feller lifts this one to right field. Sends Del Ennis back a bit. He makes the catch, and there is one away. Back to the top of the order for the Indians. And left fielder Al Smith. Smith is 1 for 2. This time he hits a ground ball to third baseman Willie Jones. Over to Eddie Waitkus. 5-3 put out, and there are 2 away. So 2 outs, nobody on for the Indians. And second baseman Bobby Avila, who is 1 for 2. It's a ground ball to second base. It's an X check. Mike Goliot's a 3, and we roll a 13. Nice play by Goliot. From his knees, fires over to Eddie Waitkus to end the inning. And the Indians go 1-2-3 again. And with 5 complete, it's the Indians 3, the Phillies 2. Roberts gets fatigue point number 8. Top of the 6th, leading off for the Phillies, will be Del Ennis. Ennis is 1 for 2. Here's the pitch from Feller. And it's a fly ball to deep left field. Al Smith's back at the track, makes the catch, 1 away. There's 1 out, nobody on for third baseman Willie Jones. Here's the pitch. Willie Jones pops this one up. It's going to stay in the infield. Vic Wertz is under that, makes the catch. And there are 2 away. Base is empty with 2 outs for Granny Hamner. Hamner's 0 for 2. He pops this one up. And just like the last batter, it's Vic Wertz under that one. And he's got it near the first base bag. And the Phillies go 1-2-3 here in the 6th. And after 5.5, it's the Indians 3 and the Phillies 2. Feller gets fatigue point number 8. Robin Roberts, he's still out here. He's at 8 fatigue points. His team is trailing 3-2, and the first batter he's going to face here in the bottom of the 6th is center fielder Larry Doby, who is 1 for 2. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 3 for Mr. Roberts, and there's 1 away. That brings up third baseman Al Rosen. Rosen's also 1 for 2. He pops this one up. Staying in the infield. Eddie Wakis calls everyone off over there at first base and makes the catch. And there are 2 away. So 2 outs, space is empty here in the bottom of the 6th, with the Indians leading 3-2 and first baseman Vic Wertz. And Wertz hits one that gets past Eddie Wakis, goes into right field, and that's a 2-out single. So Wertz is on first with 2 away, and right fielder Dave Philly. Philly is 1 for 2. Here's the pitch from Roberts. And it's a fly ball to deep center field that sends Whitey Ashburn back to the track near the wall, but he makes the catch to end the inning. So with 6 in the books, it's the Indians 3 and the Phillies 2. Robin Roberts gets fatigue point number 9. And we go to the top of the 7th. And the first batter for the Phillies is going to be catcher Andy Semenick. Homered his last time up. And got the Phillies on the board. In fact, got them both of their runs. But here's the pitch from Feller. This time he pops it up. Bobby Avila calls off Vic Wertz and makes the catch for the first out here in the the top of the 7th. So 1 out, nobody on. And second baseman Mike Goliot, who's 0 for 2. And that's a strikeout, number 3. Nope, number 4 for Bob Feller. And there are 2 away. Now Robin Roberts, who is at 9 fatigue points. We're going to pinch hit for him here. And that's going to be Dick Whitman, utility outfielder. And warming up for the Phillies is Ken Heitzelman. All right, so Whitman's going to pinch hit for Roberts. His day is done. Phillies see if they can keep this inning going. Here's the pitch from Feller. And that's a 2-out single for Whitman. So the pinch hit does work. And we're back to the top of the order. Eddie Wakis comes to the plate. Man on first with 2 outs. Here's the pitch from Feller. It's a fly ball to center field, but it's an X-check. Larry Doby is a 1. We roll an 18. And Doby makes a shoestring catch out there to end this inning. Some good defense. He gets a fist pump from Bob Feller as they head back into the dugout. They keep the Phillies off the board. So as we go to stretch them, it's the Indians 3 and the Phillies 2. Feller gets fatigue point number 9. As mentioned, Ken Heitzelman is the new pitcher for the Phillies. In 1950, he was 3-9 with a 4.1 ERA with 125 innings pitched. If you're wondering why I'm throwing him, it's because I want to try to cycle people through. And Heitzelman hasn't pitched in a while. So he's going to face George Strickland first here in the bottom of the 7th. Here's the pitch from Heinzelman. It's a ground ball to short. It's an X check for Granny Hamner. Sorry about that. He's a 2. You're rolling 18. Nice play by Hamner from his knees. Fires over to Eddie Wakis, and there's 1 away. So 1 out. Nobody on for the Indians. They lead 3-2. Here's catcher Jim Hagan. He pops this one up. And Mike Goliath is under that, makes the catch. And they're 2 away. So 2 outs, nobody on. And Bob Feller's going to bat. Here's the pitch from Heinzelman. It's a catcher's card X. Andy Semenuk's a 1. We roll a 5. That one gets by Semenuk. It's ball 3. And the next pitch to Feller. He pops this one up. It's in foul territory. Semenuk's underneath it, makes the catch. And that's it for the Indians. They go 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 7th. And after 7 innings, it's the Indians 3 and the Phillies 2. Heinzelman. Oh, I forgot to mark down in the book. Gets his first fatigue point. And Bob Feller, who's at 9. He's coming out here for the top of the 8th. First batter's Whitey Ashburn. And Whitey's going to get on base with a leadoff single. Makes the turn, but he holds up there at first. So man on first, nobody out, and Dick Sisler. Getting a little bit of activity here in the Indians bullpen. And Ray Narleski is warming up. So man on first, nobody out. Dick Sisler comes to the plate. It's a ground ball to shortstop, and it's an X check. And Strickland is a 2, and we roll a 16. And that is going to be a 6-4-3 double play. That is Strickland to Avila to Wirtz. Big double play for the Indians there. 6-4-3. And they're 2 away. So 2 outs, nobody on. And right fielder Del Ennis. Dell is 1 for 3. And that's a strikeout for Feller. That's strikeout number 5. And that's it for the Phillies here in the top of the 8th. So after 7.5, it's the Indians 3 and the Phillies 2. Feller gets fatigue point number 10. Ken Heitzelman's back out. And we're at the top of the order for the Indians. And leading off is Al Smith. Here's the pitch. It's a ground ball to third base. Willie Jones over to Eddie Wakis, and there's 1 away. So 1 out, nobody on. Second baseman Bobby Avila. Avila's 1 for 3. With an RBI that I did not mark. No, excuse me, he did not have an RBI, but he had a run scored. Yeah, we got a 6-3. And that's a fly ball to right field. It's an X check for Del Ennis. He is a 3. We roll a 1. And Ennis makes a nice catch out there. And there's 2 away for the Indians here in the bottom of the 8th. That's going to bring up Larry Doby, center fielder. He's 1 for 3. Had a double, an RBI, and a run scored, and then a couple strikeouts. Here's the pitch from Heinzelman. And that's a 2-out single for Larry Doby. Makes the turn at first, but he's going to hold up there. And that brings up Al Rosen, third baseman. Rosen's 1 for 3. Here's the pitch. And he lines that one, but right at Willie Jones, who makes a nice play. And that ends any threat from the Indians here in the bottom of the 8th. So after 8 complete innings, it's the Indians 3 and the Phillies 2. Heinzelman gets his second fatigue point, and the day is over for Bob Feller. Ray Narleski's going to come out and try to save this one for him. In 1954, Ray Narleski was 3-3 with a 2.22 ERA, 89 innings pitched. And he's going to face Willie Jones, Granny Hamner, and Andy Semenick. That's Narleski. All right. Here's the pitch to Willie Jones. Low outside, and that's a leadoff walk, and the tying run is on base. So man on first, nobody out for Granny Hamner. Hamner's 0 for 3. This one was high. And now the tying run moves up to second on the walk to Hamner, and it's first and second with nobody out. And Mike Garcia is warming up for the Indians. Well, they're certainly making this interesting. So, runners on first and second, nobody out, and Andy Semenick. Here's the pitch. It's a fly ball to center field. Larry Doby's under that, makes the catch. There's one away, the runners have to hold. It's going to bring up Mike Goliot. Runners on first and second, 1 out. Phillies trail 3-2. Here's the pitch from Narleski. It's a ground ball to shortstop, and it's an X check. Strickland's a 2. We roll a 17. And what a way to end this game. It's another 6, 4, 3. Rally crushing and game ending double play. So the Indians are going to go to 9 wins. They pulled this one off 3-2. Let's get some totals. The Phillies had 2 runs on two hits, committed no errors. The Indians had 3 runs on 5 hits. They also committed no errors. The winning pitcher is Bob Feller. Loss goes to Robin Roberts. And Ray Narleski gets the save. So the Indians are 1 win away from making the Goodell Cup Finals, and they will take on the 1950 Yankees in game number 44. And the Phillies dropped to 5-5 after that 4-1 start. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. If you hung out with me, I appreciate it, and hope you enjoyed this one. And I'll be back again in the near future with another video. And until then, take care.